Thank you for joining me today. It is such a weird time right now. Today is, on the day I'm recording this, it's March 19th, 2020, and we are here in North America. I'm in Canada, and on the West Coast, we are dealing with the recommendation of social distancing and trying to lower the curve for the COVID-19 pandemic that is happening right now. And I think a lot of people are trying to create videos that have a little bit of an uplift and a little bit of a happy message, considering that people are anxious and dealing with potentially being quarantined or could even be ill. And so what I wanted to do today was to share a little video idea that I've had for a really long time, and I thought, what better time than now to just make a little video to start it off. So what I'm calling this is the movie Made Me Read It, and this is basically a video about movies that I've seen, and when I have found out that they were based on books, I have gone ahead and read those books because I liked the movie so much. So I'm going to share 3 books that I have read because of the movies, and I'm going to share 3 books that are on my TBR and that I'm hoping to read this year that I have seen the movies for and loved them. So the first movie that I want to talk about is Black Beauty. I watched this film when I was young, during the 1990s. It is one of the most comforting, beautifully shot, heartwarming movies I think that you could ever watch. It is the story of a horse, obviously named Black Beauty, and follows that horse's life from birth until being put out to pasture as an old horse. And it is set during the late 1800s, and so you follow obviously the time period and how horses were employed in so many different ways, and this is set in England. So this is based on the book Black Beauty by Anna Sewell, and I read this book last year with my son Elliot, and it really does follow, the film really does follow the book, keeps closely to the main plot points and the main events in Black Beauty's life. The language is obviously a little bit outdated in some places, but I think that as long as I was able to kind of explain to Elliot, who was 8 at the time when we read this story, you know, some of the context for the language, he very much enjoyed the gist of the story. If you love stories about animals, from the perspective of animals, because this book is from Black Beauty's perspective, we do change perspectives in a few other horses at different times, but it's mostly Black Beauty, then I would say definitely check this one out. And it's a lovely classic that I think could be a great distraction, both the film and the book, during this kind of precarious time. The next film that I'd like to talk about is Chocolat. This film, I think this film is also from the 1990s. Maybe all the films I'm talking about are from the 1990s. It stars Juliette Binoche and Johnny Depp, and follows this very witchy, kind of magical woman as she sets up a chocolate shop in a small French town. She has a little daughter who lives with her, and she takes this town that has become very quiet and traditional and is very judgmental and kind of lacks any sense of warmth or community, and she takes that town and she transforms it, and it's a really wonderful, heartwarming story of transformation. I love Juliette Binoche. I think she's a wonderful actress, and her charm really brings this film to life. Chocolat, the novel, was written by Joanne, And it just has a little bit, it's very similar to the film as well, but it has obviously a little bit more detail and a little bit more character development for some of the other characters in the story. And it's also a very heartwarming read. It has a lovely energy to it, and Joanne Harris actually created a series based on these books, so there's more than one following the same characters, and I have not yet read those, but I know Mel from Mel's Bookland Adventures loves them as well, and so I would recommend them if you're looking for something lighter. And the third film that I'd like to recommend is The English Patient, which also stars Juliette Binoche, and Ralph Fiennes is also in it. I watched this film in the 1990s as well, and it is an Oscar winner. It is just lovely to watch. It has beautiful shots of the desert and just a wonderful atmosphere to it. Obviously a little bit heavier in subject matter if you're not familiar with the plot of The English Patient. It's kind of got two or three narratives. One of them is the English patient himself, this mysterious patient who is in a plane crash and who is burned very severely on his face, and he's kind of telling you part of the story, and then you're also immersed in part of the nurse's life, and then you are also immersed in Kip's story. And Kip is my favorite character in the English Patient novel. It's kind of hard to talk about the film and not talk about the novel at the same time. I think that when I read, after seeing the film and reading the novel many years later, I do prefer the novel, and that is because Kip is a bomb diffuser. He is a Sikh origin bomb diffuser from England, working in Italy. And his story and his character is just what pulled me through in this novel and made it sing to me. It is just, he's such a brilliant character. So I would say the film is good, the book is better, and it's just definitely an important and wonderful kind of interesting, pulling you through the World War II and just a different perspective of World War II as well. So I would definitely recommend both of them. Now for three books that are on my TBR that I'm really excited to read later on this year, hopefully, starting with A Little Princess. The film A Little Princess is one I also watched when I was a little girl, or younger. I would say it was also in the 1990s. I guess there's a theme here, isn't there? And this follows a young girl who is moving from India after her mother dies. Her father puts her into a boarding school in New York City. And so this is a boarding school story, and it's just such a magical film. It's so atmospheric. It presents the beauty of childhood, that kind of magical, mystical aspect of childhood, but it also has some dark themes, and so it mixes those together to me in just the perfect way. So I am very, very excited to read A Little Princess by Frances Hodgson's Burnett. I have read The Secret Garden. It's one of my favorite books of all time, and I'm pretty sure A Little Princess will be right up there with the other ones. I think Burnett is able to create this, just take a child's world and present it in such an engrossing way. You just get wrapped right up into that world, and it becomes just something that you can't help but fall in love with, in my opinion. So very excited to read A Little Princess sometime this year. The next film I want to talk about is not from the 1990s, so I'm becoming a little bit more current here, and that is A Single Man, which was directed by Tom Ford. It stars Colin Firth as the main character. I can't remember his name right now, but it is such a stylistically wonderful film. It also stars Julianne Moore. It has so much atmosphere. It has so much beautiful attention to detail, and it is the story of a man who loses his partner and the repercussions that that has on his life during the 1950s in small town America. and it is just a stunning film. I enjoyed it so much, and the book is also called A Single Man and is written by Christopher Isherwood, and so I'm really looking forward to diving into that book and revisiting that character and checking out the differences between the film and the novel. So please check out A Single Man if you haven't seen the film and the book. I don't know, like I said, since I haven't read it yet, I'm hoping it's a great book, but I can't think it would be horrible considering how great the film was. And for my third, I am picking The Reader. This film starred Kate Winslet, and I thought the film was just so compellingly created. Kate Winslet is one of my favorite actresses, so I'm a little bit biased in that area, but I loved her performance. The story is a post-World War II story set in Germany and follows a female guard from one of the concentration camps in Germany and her relationship with a young teenage boy. And so this relationship in many ways is problematic. It becomes a sexual relationship. There's a lot of issues around the ethics of that. But it is a human story. And by that I mean, they're exploring issues that happen in our world. So I think that the issues explored are problematic and difficult at times, but they also have something to reveal about the human condition. And The Reader is by Bernhard Schlink, and it is going to be one of the books that I read for the #Read More German Books 2020, which is a year-long reading initiative by Britta Bohler and Mel from Mel's Bookland Adventures. And so, yeah, those are the 6 books I wanted to talk to you about today. If you have any films and book combos that you think are really worth people checking out, I would love it if you leave them in the comments below. Or if you would like to make an answer video to this prompt, I would love to throw it out there for anyone to do at this time, especially when a lot of us are self-isolating or social distancing. We're going to need a lot more entertainment to happen. So anything that can help us get through this time is beneficial. And I want to thank you so much for watching. I will probably be doing another installment of this in the future. And I will probably do it in this method each time. So 3 books and films that I've seen both, and 3 books and films that are on my TBR. So yeah, I hope you're all doing well, and I will talk to you again soon. Thank you very much for watching.